Now, this is significant because the biting off of a tail is a specific trait of only a few underwater predators, the mako shark being one of them. But there's only one underwater predator that would be able to bite the tail off of a whale this size, like has been done here.
In the mysterious depths of ancient times, there existed a colossal ruler of the seas, a fearsome predator unlike any other, the Megalodon, and its elusive relative, the Red Megalodon. Ruling the oceans of prehistory, these immense creatures have carved a legacy of fear that is still present in the depths. So let's dive into the adventures of an extinct world that will give you chills. Existence of Red Megalodon. Let's kickstart this video with the burning question that's been buzzing in everyone's minds lately. Is the Red Megalodon actually real? One thing we've got to clear up right off the bat is that the idea of a Red Megalodon existing isn't some far-fetched fantasy. Just recently, a massive red tooth was unearthed near the Mahararian River in the United States, which is considered to be a hotspot for uncovering the remains of ancient giants lurking beneath its waters. Scientists are all in agreement that since these magnificent megs prowled the planet millions of years ago, we've only stumbled upon their teeth and a handful of vertebrae. But there's a solid chance that the Megalodon was way more than just what we've dug up so far. And that's what makes the idea of a Red Megalodon lurking out there pretty darn unbelievable. Oh, but hold up. There's one more jaw-dropping discovery you absolutely don't want to miss. Something most of us probably know. The majority of sea predators, particularly sharks, are ectothermic creatures. But here's where these ancient rulers broke the mold. Through analyzing isotopes in the tooth enamel of these ancient sharks, researchers made a mind-blowing discovery. Megalodons could maintain their body temperature about 13 degrees Fahrenheit, even warmer than the surrounding water. When you compare this to other sharks of their time, it's a pretty significant gap between them, enough to classify megs as warm-blooded animals. These endothermic predators belong to a shark species known as mackerel sharks, making them the predecessors of modern-day threshers. These sharks are almost the only ones that manage to keep their body temperature higher than the water around them. In this way, there was also another theory floating around, suggesting that great white sharks were their true descendants. But does that mean megalodons were just oversized great whites? Well, I'd say absolutely not. While it's true that great whites are thought to be in the lineage of megs, but they're not direct ancestors or descendants. Instead, they share a common ancestry and belong to the same shark family, known as the Lamandi family. And despite their similarities due to shared ancestry, they're actually distinct species with significant differences in sizes, behavior, and habitat.
Oh my gosh, what a monster! What an absolute monster!
All three of these characteristics were what made megalodons the colossal behemoths we know them as today. But how do we deduce all this from just a tooth? Well, it's because scientists didn't just stumble upon a few of them. They uncovered thousands of megalodon jaws from all over the globe. And to gauge their size, they simply measured the length of the tooth row from the side of the jaw.
So a simple way to calculate the length is to measure the tooth row length from the front to the side of the jaw. And if we multiply that by 8, that gives us the precaudal length of our shark, which should be from the tip of the shark's nose to where the tail starts.
And there you have it, folks. The grand size of the great megalodon. Double the size of a big school bus, and 3 times the size of a great white shark.
Now we think Megalodon might have had a tail similar to that of a great white, so we then add 25% for the tail. We think roughly between 15 and 18 meters is the likely size for Megalodon. That's roughly double the size of a bus, or 3 times the size of a great white.
Hunting tactics. So what did these colossal creatures feast on to earn their monstrous reputation? Now, you might think that's a bit of a silly question, right? I mean, with a size as immense as theirs, they probably chowed down on anything unlucky enough to cross their path. Whether it was a hefty shark, a whale, Heck, they might have even snacked on a bunch of sharks or a bunch of whales. Or perhaps even a whole bunch of whales and sharks together. All right, I could keep going with that all day. But let me break it down for you like this. A megalodon could have easily polished off a whale the size of a full-grown killer whale in just 5 hefty bites. And if you're still skeptical, well, I've got this video that'll show you just how effortlessly this massive creature could snatch up a swimming whale.
Oh no. Did you see?
What made life a breeze for megalodons, you ask? Well, it all came down to their colossal jaws, packed with a whopping 276 mega teeth, boasting incredible bite force. These massive teeth turn them into some of the most terrifying predators ever to rule the oceans.
Now to the story of a sea monster with 130 razor-sharp teeth. It might sound like the stuff of legend, but this creature really did exist around 75 million years ago.
While exact measurements are tricky without any living specimens to study, scientists reckon that the megalodon's bite force could have been anywhere between 24,000 to 41,000 pounds per square inch. To give you a little perspective, the great white shark, one of the biggest contemporary predators out there, clocks in at around 1,800 pounds per square inch. So yeah, the megalodon's bite was seriously next level, making it a breeze for them to crunch through the bones and shells of their prey. Literally anything could have fit snugly inside those 3.4 meter wide jaws. Let me tell you about a wild sighting back in 2009. A father and his son stumbled upon a stranded whale that had been bitten clean in half. This jaw-dropping discovery went down off the coast of Hawaii and left everyone who witnessed it absolutely gobsmacked. Now, you might be wondering why I'm throwing a half-eaten whale into the mix of megs.
From the vantage point of the kid's camera, the whale looks to be almost bitten in half. It's absolutely insane.
That is unbelievably big.
Well, that's because the whale's beach body revealed one heck of a bite radius.
Now, this is significant because the biting off of a tail is a specific trait of only a few underwater predators, the mako shark being one of them. But there's only one underwater predator that would be able to bite the tail off of a whale this size, like has been done here.
And that radius was enough to clue in the researchers as to who the culprit behind this savage act was. Yep, just one mighty chomp was all it took for the megalodon to split that whale in half. According to the researchers, any predator capable of such a feat would have needed a lot more muscle than your typical shark swimming around in those waters. So, in simpler terms, it wasn't only the megalodons packing enough punch to dish out that kind of damage with just a single bite. Well, absolutely, it wasn't just their sheer size and jaw power that made megalodons formidable predators, but rather a combination of stealth, speed, strength, and teamwork that helped them hunt and devour their prey. They likely employed ambush tactics like lurking in the depths and surprising their victims from below, while using their massive size and strength to unleash devastating bites. Cooperative hunting, akin to what we see in modern sharks, was another strategy. Working together in groups allowed them to efficiently tackle larger prey. Their impressive speed also meant they could chase down smaller, more nimble targets. And let's not forget their knack for scavenging on the carcasses of large marine creatures, adding to their versatility as hunters in the ancient oceans. Recent sightings. While delving into the world of these legendary creatures, I stumbled upon some recent sightings that really got me thinking. There have been numerous reports of creatures bearing a striking resemblance to the long-extinct megalodons, leaving even the scientists scratching their heads.
It turned out to be a swarm of microbes known as Marionecta rubra. Well, during the initial investigation, the agent who was studying the swarm noticed something out in the water.
It's a little fuzzy, but I'd say that's a shark.
And not just any shark. If you look at this other satellite photo I brought, it was taken at the same resolution of a school bus yard in nearby Sao Paulo. Now, those are 40-foot buses, and when you compare them next to the first photo, I'd say that's a 70-foot shark.
The scientific consensus absolutely points strongly towards their extinction millions of years ago. But there still are a few reasons to entertain the idea of their continued existence. First off, the ocean is an immense and enigmatic realm, and we've barely scratched the surface of what lies beneath. Who's to say what mysteries would be lurking in the uncharted depths, right? And then there are these intriguing accounts of massive yet unidentified beings spotted in the ocean. While not scientifically validated, these sightings do add fuel to the speculation that perhaps, just perhaps, a handful of megalodons somehow managed to survive. For instance, watch this clip captured off the Brazilian coast.
We got another one over here? What are those?
In the footage, these two huge creatures can be seen continuously stalking the boat, appearing almost as large as the vessel itself.
On each side of the boat? What are those trails called? What side is swimming fast underneath that water? Something's swimming real fast underneath that water.
While they might not be the legendary megalodons, still it's undeniable that there are indeed larger-than-life creatures prowling the depths of the oceans. Take this for instance, the one captured on camera in Japan's Suraga Bay in 2016. This massive shark, initially shrouded in mystery, remained unidentified for years until researchers recently pegged it as a sleeper shark. These sharks boast staggering sizes, reaching lengths of over 8 meters. A creature bearing a striking resemblance was recorded in the depths. However, unlike its identified counterpart, this one remained shrouded in anonymity, leaving researchers scratching their heads at the sight of this monstrous creature, estimated to measure more than 15 meters in length.
I understand that this is very hard to believe. Press play. Okay, pause there. All right, zoom in. Once more. And to the right. I know it's kind of blurry, but look at that. Look at that. That's a fin.
Not just limited to sightings, there's an encounter as well, where the Coast Guard found themselves just a few inches away from what witnesses described as a megalodon-like creature. Another creature that garnered a similar moniker was this one. A colossal shadow rose from the depths, unveiling an enormous basking shark reminiscent of a prehistoric beast. What stirred up quite a buzz on social media was the mistaken belief that this basking shark, stretching up to 40 feet in length, was a megalodon. Here's another gigantic shark that was filmed so close to the fishermen.
Oh my god.
What's this, John?
Mate,
uh-oh. Don't like this.
Relation with great whites. Now, while megalodons may have vanished into extinction, they did leave behind a lineage of esteemed descendants. Yep, I'm talking about none other than the great white sharks.
So big! We did it, man! We went free!
I mean, great whites are kind of like the modern-day counterparts of megalodons. Whether we're talking about millions of years ago or today, they remain the undisputed kings of the sea.
So you're documenting this. How?
Well, I'd go out on the water and film the harvest whenever it was happening. Right, yep, here we are. We were just shooting these clips to celebrate the grace and beauty of these animals.
Come on, right at you.
And then you caught this.
Right.
What is that?
And you know what's really fascinating? Despite not being closely related, these two have a ton of similarities that tie them together. One ultimate similarity is their carnivorous appetite. Both these apex predators are meat enthusiasts, which plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. But hey, great whites aren't the only predators out there. There are times when even these ace predators found themselves on the receiving end of the food chain. Usually, it's the juvenile great whites that fall victim. When they're young and still relatively small, they can become prey to larger sharks, like other great whites, or even bigger species like orcas. Speaking of orcas, they've been seen hunting and taking down great white sharks, although such encounters are pretty rare. Overall, even as adults, great white sharks face threats from natural predators. So, if majestic creatures like great white sharks can be taken out of the picture by predators, it really makes you wonder, what exactly led to the demise of the mighty megalodon? Extinction. The megalodon undoubtedly possessed a distinct advantage with its elevated body temperature, allowing it to achieve greater speed, endure colder waters, and expand its habitat globally. But here's the thing, megalodons thrived during the Pliocene epoch, roughly 5.33 to 2.58 million years ago. However, as the globe cooled down during this time, it threw a wrench into the Megalodon's plans. Sea levels shifted, and the Megalodon struggled to adapt. Maintaining that elevated body temperature demanded an exceptionally high energy level from the Megalodon, leading to an insatiable appetite. But with the changing oceans and perhaps even competition from newcomers like the great white shark, it became a tough gig. As a result, the Megalodon faced a slew of challenges that ultimately contributed to its extinction. Some researchers have even tossed around the idea that unusual oceanic events or anomalies like massive underwater volcanic eruptions or shifts in ocean chemistry might have played a vital role in the Megalodon's demise. These events would have thrown the food chain out of whack, affected prey populations, or even created inhospitable conditions for the Megalodon. And here's another interesting thought. Early human populations living near coastlines might have crossed paths with Megalodons or stumbled upon their remains. It's true that Megalodons were certainly formidable creatures and not easy prey, but humans also have a history of hunting large marine animals for various reasons, including food, tools, and trophies. It's crucial to acknowledge that while human activities might have had some impact, they're unlikely to have been the primary cause of the Megalodon's extinction. Instead, these activities could have added extra stress to an already dwindling population, exacerbating the challenges the Megalodon faced during its existence. Aside from the climactic factors that played a significant role in their disappearance, there's another factor that may have also contributed to their extinction, and that's the Megalodons themselves. It's believed that as Megalodons grew larger, competition for limited food resources intensified, potentially leading to instances of larger individuals preying on smaller ones of their own species. Another reason behind this cannibalistic behavior might be the relentless hunger. I mean, either these apex predators were ravenous due to a scarcity of prey, or were simply seizing opportunities when they arose by targeting their own kind. But circling back to the point, this very cannibalism could have played a role in their eventual extinction. It might have contributed to a decline in the Megalodon population, as individuals resorted to cannibalism when other food sources became scarce due to changing environmental conditions. Potential enemies. Absolutely, Megalodons may have been the undisputed rulers of their time. But they weren't the only formidable creatures roaming the waters. There were many other mighty predators, albeit not contemporaneous with the Megalodon, that were powerful enough to take down even a giant-sized Megalodon. First on the list are Leviathan, often dubbed the Leviathan whale. This colossal prehistoric sperm whale prowled the seas around 12 to 13 million years ago. It boasted impressive lengths of up to 60 feet and was distinguished by its gigantic teeth, which could stretch up to a foot in length. These formidable teeth were tailor-made for gripping and rending apart prey, which frequently consisted of hefty marine creatures. To imagine how Leviathan might emerge victorious in such a clash, one consider its formidable bite force and its teeth, perfectly designed for disabling and incapacitating prey. If Leviathan could strategically target and inflict damage on vital areas or limbs of the Megalodon, it could gradually weaken the shark over time. Another advantage that this sleek whale possessed was its speed. Its streamlined body shape and large flippers enabled it to swiftly navigate through the ocean, especially during pursuits of prey or rapid bursts of acceleration. On the contrary, our legendary Megalodon, while an immensely powerful swimmer, had a bulkier physique more suited for endurance and sheer force rather than quick and agile movements. So, if these two titans were ever to clash, Leviathan would likely emerge victorious in the battle for survival, thanks to its agility and maneuverability. And when considering the potential competition between great white sharks and their larger Megalodon cousins, it's important to recognize the significant gap of around 1 million years between these predators. However, given the massive size and stealth with which great white sharks hunt, it's not entirely implausible to speculate that a group of them could overpower a single Megalodon in a confrontation. Another formidable adversary of the Megalodons would have been the Basilosaurus, often hailed as the King Lizard. This marine reptile has long captivated the imaginations of scientists. The first Basilosaurus fossil, resembling a colossal eel measuring up to 65 feet, was discovered in the 19th century. This mighty marine predator reigned over the ancient seas approximately 34 million years ago. While its preferred prey was whale meat, it's believed that with its immense size and power, it's likely had the capability to take down sharks as well. Now, picture a clash between the formidable megalodons and Balasosaurus. I know it's purely hypothetical, as it never happened in reality, but if it did, the Balasosaurus, with its sheer size, would have had the upper hand in overpowering the megalodon. If a Balasosaurus could potentially take down a megalodon, then it's safe to say that the Mosasaurus would have certainly done it. This marine reptile bore a striking resemblance to the Balasosaurus, thriving during the late Cretaceous period around 70 million years ago. The Mosasaurus reached lengths of approximately 56 feet, armed with sharp teeth designed for gripping, and a double-hinged jaw that allowed it to swallow prey as a whole. The Mosasaurus was indeed a formidable predator. It preyed on marine reptiles, pterosauruses, perhaps even land dinosaurs and other Mosasaurus. Now, let's turn our attention to the mighty Megalodon, an apex predator that ruled the oceans millions of years later. While the Mosasaurus was undoubtedly a formidable predator in its own right, if these two ancient beasts had somehow crossed paths, it would have been a formidable challenge for the Megalodon to defend itself. Albacetus. The giant sperm whale Albacetus, which roamed the seas 15 million years ago during the Miocene period, originated from the western United States and boasted a fascinating history. Discovered in 1909 in Santa Barbara, these magnificent creatures were initially misidentified as marine walruses, a theory later debunked by scientific research. Furthermore, Albacetus possessed some unique features that set it apart from other sea creatures of its time. It had a closed groove in its nose and teeth with a hard outer layer called enamel. These distinctive characteristics made it stand out among its marine counterparts. As for the question of how Albacetus might fare against the formidable Megalodon, well, an encounter between these two ancient giants, if it ever took place, would undoubtedly have been a truly epic battle of prehistoric titans, with the outcome remaining a mystery, lost to the depths of time. Cetatherium, an ancient whale beast, possessed impressive size and surprising stealthy prowess. While it didn't match the immense proportions of the Megalodon, what sets Cetatherium apart was its unique adaptations and the formidable power it commanded beneath the waves. Its ability to navigate and hunt stealthily and its preferred surface waters made it a formidable predator, showcasing that success in the ancient seas wasn't solely determined by sheer size. When discussing potential Megalodon hunters, it's impossible to overlook the giant Pacific octopus. Just observe its immense size and elongated 8 arms, poised to ensnare anything that ventures too close. Now you might wonder, how could such a creature leave the Megalodon unscathed? Sure, the Meg may boast sharp, shark-like teeth, but consider this. The enormous balloon it could inflate would be sufficient to obscure any predator's vision. Not to mention the secret inky weapons it conceals. If it couldn't directly hunt the colossal Meg, it would undoubtedly give the massive prehistoric beast a formidable challenge.